Hi, friends. Welcome back to today's episode of the Life with Loverly podcast. We have a very unique episode for you today, and I have my husband, Chris, on. Hey, babe.
Hi, friends. Glad to be back. I've missed you all, and excited to be back on to answer some questions.
You know, for those of y'all who are new listeners, Chris is actually the one that coined the phrase "Hi, friends."
That started before.
Like
Loverly
even
Gray.
I
That
knew
started
you.
Before.
You used to just say that to
Everyone.
if you came up on a group of your friends, you'd be like, "Hi, friends," and then everybody just sort of, I don't know. You're like the OG hi friends.
It's very disarming. Because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, friends, what's up?
I know. It's great. So that's where it came from. So later in this episode, we're going to cover some funny disagreements that our listeners submitted on Instagram. And Chris and I are going to be providing our expert level unlicensed advice for you all.
Incredibly unlicensed.
It's funny. We were right before we started the podcast. I was doing some floss in my teeth, and Chris was like, "Oh, I have a chia seed. Can I do that?" And I asked,
and not like floss, like the actual string in your hand, like the little toothpick floss thing.
Right. And so Kat, who's our producer today, she's on the backside of this, and I'm like, "Would you use this after Will, which is her boyfriend?" And she was like, "I don't know, in desperate times." And so then I was like, "Well, what if you were stuck without a toothbrush, somewhere, and you couldn't get it? Would you use your spouse's toothbrush?"
I think you have to.
I think we have done that before. Okay, so I say all this because then Chris was like, "Wait, I do need the floss." So I flossed, and then he used the same flosser.
Just for one spot.
But I mean, that does not even bother me at all.
I had to get over it, but I had to get the chia seed out of my tooth, so it had to happen.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the questions we're going to get into. But first, I wanted to give you guys an update. And since we have Chris here, give you guys some where are you now on your running journey. And we have, I guess you were on the podcast talking about running on one of our super early episodes. Obviously, you've been back on since. But earlier this year, you ran a marathon in Tokyo.
Did.
What's next? Where are we going next?
So we did New York in November, and then followed that right back up with Tokyo in March. So it was kind of a quick turnaround, a little quicker than I would have liked in terms of recovery. Tokyo was incredible, though. The culture of the people there, just the city itself, the food, the cleanliness, the put togetherness.
Yeah.
They were just unbelievable. So yes, the flight's long, but if you ever get a chance to go to Tokyo, I would highly recommend it.
Right.
The race itself went great. I dialed in some things that I'd been working on, and everything kind of went well that day. I was a little nervous. Logistics, they're a lot stricter. If you've ever been to Tokyo, you'll know that they don't have trash anywhere. It's the cleanest city ever. Yeah. But they don't let you bring your own water bottles to the race. They don't let you bring a lot of your own stuff. So that was very different than what we have here. So that was a little bit of nervousness before the race to kind of make it hard for me. But we made it work, and everything kind of just came together, and we had a really good race. So
what were some things that you changed up before Tokyo that you hadn't done before other marathons?
So if you sweat a lot, or if you run a marathon and you bonked, or if you just at mile 20, you just hit the wall and you just felt terrible, or you finish the race and 3 hours later you're in your hotel bed in Nashville shaking from dehydration. Note to self, don't do that. Again. I did a sweat test, and it was kind of expensive. It was a couple $100, but basically I did a short workout wearing a little patch that analyzed how much sodium I lose, how much fluids I lose. And then off of that, I worked with a nutritionist to kind of build a plan on all right, you need X amount of fluids per hour, you need X amount of sodium per hour, plus the carbs. So prior to that, I'd always done the carbs part, but I was always short on fluids and sodium.
Yeah.
And with Tokyo, even with having to only use the cups on the course and everything else, we were able to dial it in and get much closer to the numbers I needed. And that's what led to success.
Yeah. It was interesting just to see too, because you knocked a good amount of time off of your last time.
I did pretty good in Nashville, and I was about 18 minutes faster or 16 minutes faster in Tokyo than Nashville. But compared to New York, where I hit the wall and my fluid intake was just not nearly enough of what it needed to be, I dropped 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So about a minute per
crazy.
mile, a little over a minute per mile.
So what is next? I know, didn't you register for a marathon in December?
I do. So
interesting timing, but that's fine.
Yeah, minor details. So right now I'm tentatively signed up to run the Peachtree. It's a big race. If you're from Georgia, you know what it is. It's July 4th. It's in Atlanta. It's a 10K. It's super popular. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people who run it. I ran it once, hated it because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And it's it's tough. It's July 4th. So depending on what we're doing that day, I may or may not, but we'll see. Maybe do another 5K between now and then. I'm just trying to do shorter distances for the summer just because summer training is a lot different. And then we'll hit the ground running probably August, September timeframe and get ready for CIM in Sacramento first week of December.
And then you're hoping that you will qualify for Boston
Correct.
off of that time.
Yeah.
And then Boston will be your last of the 6 world majors, and that will be April.
That'll be April. And that'll be, if everything goes well and the training continues to what it's supposed to look like, we should have a chance at CIM. It's typically a very fast and it's a deep field of people who are all kind of having the same goals,
Right.
breaking 3 hours. So I think last year, like 1,500 people broke 3 hours, something crazy.
Wow.
So it'll be a good group of people to run with. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think it's December 8th or 9th.
Good to know. I'm going to like mentally put all this on my calendar after this because
I've registered for the race and I have a hotel room booked. I don't have a flight yet. So I guess we'll talk about that later, more on a personal level and kind of figure out the logistics of that.
Okay, so I've obviously shared a little bit of your marathon journey on my Instagram, and anytime we talk about it, I always get questions from people who are just like, how did you get into this? Like if they'll be like, my husband's kind of wanting to start doing half marathons, like what are some things you could give us some advice on if you're wanting to start out? Because like you were not a marathon runner before this. Like you really weren't
I wasn't
a runner.
a runner.
And you
like
just...
running was punishment for me. I played lacrosse, and if we got in trouble, conditioning was punishment. So I always had a negative viewpoint of running. I ran a half marathon in 2018, right? 2018 with my brother, and I was like, all right, checked it off the list, never doing that again. And then he ran New York the next year, and I was like, well, that was fun. I'm going to do that. So I signed up for Chicago in 2019, ran that, and then it's been kind of a journey since, figuring out a lot of things and learning what I need to do to run successfully. And that's just kind of growth with getting a coach and getting a nutritionist, and just kind of figuring things out and not trying to learn everything on the internet. But if you're just starting out running, honestly, start slower than you think. It's the easiest way to not get hurt. Don't go from, hey, I've never run to, I'm going to do 40 miles this week. Bad idea. That's how lingering injuries happen. You're better off if you're going to start running, only increase your weekly mileage by about 10% per week. So if you run 20 the next week, don't do more than 22, and then don't do more than 24 and a half, and kind of gradually build on that. And that'll help you out a lot. And also, run slower than you think you should run, because that'll increase your aerobic ability and kind of lower your heart rate and make things easier as you get more and more into it.
And you do a lot of other types of workouts during the week. So it's not like you're just running 7 days a week. You know, like you're in the gym, you're doing Peloton, you know, some days you're not even running and you're lifting. Yeah. Do you feel like, is it easy for somebody to like figure out what a plan could be?
I mean, you could find a ton online. I mean, on Instagram alone, just because of stuff I look at is a lot of runner content. The biggest stuff for me is like hip mobility, because I deal with some knee issues. So if I don't do my stretches, if I don't do my flexibility, if I don't do my just body weight work, I'm going to be in trouble when it comes to mile 26 or
Right.
even 22. So I do, right now I'm only running 5 days a week. I'm usually working out or lifting 3 or 4 of those days. And again, you don't need a ton of weight to be a runner. Like in terms of lifting, like you can do a lot of it with bands. You can do a lot of it with just one kettlebell. So it's not like it's a super expensive endeavor if you want to get into the lifting aspect of it. But a lot of like body weight work and single leg work will kind of help you just kind of build the muscles that you don't realize you're using, like your stabilizing muscles while you're running.
Love it. And then what about, I know obviously you have like switched up some of your nutrition and that's going to be like super personalized, but how would you say just like somebody adding electrolytes to their water or?
That's huge. You don't realize how much sodium you lose on a given basis. Like even throughout the day, if you don't work out, you still need to, get in a little bit of sodium. Now you don't need as much as the guy who's running 50 miles a week. But like you versus me, you still do a relight at least,
once a day,
at least once a day. Now I'll do that. And then I'll have like an electrolyte drink while I'm working out, but that'll be more carb based. Cause the other thing too is yes, while you're running, it's kind of going to sound crazy, but if you are running to train to get faster and things like that, you shouldn't be losing a lot of weight. You should be replenishing everything. You should have a ton of carbs. Like you should never eat or run on an empty stomach. Like you should try and fuel everything you do, which I know some people, there's we'll call it the hardo culture. That's like, oh, I get up and I did the cold plunge. Then I did the sauna and then I did this 30-mile run and I didn't take any water with me. It's like, that's fine, I guess, if you want to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like that's how you get hurt. That's how your body like breaks down. Like it's okay to fuel. It's okay to, there's the woman who had the American record for the marathon, Kira Damata. She ran like a 10K and like brought a gel, like a carb gel during the 10K. She was the only one who had it. And I'm like, well, if she who had the American record for the fastest marathon is willing to eat a gel during a 10K, then I can swallow my pride and I can take one too. So
right. I think it's interesting just from like my perspective on your training. I didn't realize, he's always like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm going to run in the morning, and the process to get you like out the door is a lot longer, especially depending on where he is in the train. Cause it's like, he's got to have the pre-workout and he's got to have a snack or some breakfast and then go to the bathroom and then more, and I'm like thinking he's just like, okay, I'm like going out for a run. But now that you do this so much more like competitively and you feel your body properly, it takes like, there's a process.
I need to wake up. I need my pre-workout. I need to wear my little back heater massager thing to loosen up a little bit. I need to do so I'll never just like start running. Like I have like a specific warm up that I do, like a stretch routine, mobility routine. That's both dynamic and static stretching. I'll do a couple like running form cues. I'll use my little band to like warm up my glutes.
Yeah. He does all of this and I'm like, okay, why are you still here? I thought you were going.
There's definitely been some judgments when I get up an hour before I'm supposed to start running, and she's like, why haven't you left yet? And I'm like, well, I have a routine and I'm a creature of habit and my routine is working for me at the moment. So I'm slow and steady in the morning, but I do it's just I got used to it and now I can't break it. So now if it's like, hey, just get up and go, I like can't. Like
I know.
I'm like physically
even
incapable.
on vacation, you're like, okay, I'm having a light day, but I still need to like do these things. And I'm like, okay, just what if you didn't? Like, what if you just went? But I get it.
That's the other crazy part. Amongst like I said, I'm running 5 days a week right now. I think 3 of those days are like incredibly easy, like 2 minutes slower than what I'm going to run the marathon at.
Yeah.
Sometimes even slower than that, depending on how I'm feeling, how tired I am, how hot it is outside. Just to adjust for humidity and dew point and UV. Basically, your body doesn't understand pace, so I run pretty slow, which is fine.
Is there anybody that you follow on Instagram that maybe if our listeners are like, okay, I kind of want like some tips and tricks on like running, whose Instagram account they could just go look up and get like a few pointers? Is there anybody that you like to follow?
My coach for one, Nick Klastova. I think it's N Klastova.
We can leave the link in the show notes.
We'll put him in there. He is great for like positivity and like some of the stuff I had already talked about. Running Explained is great if you want to look at, different things related to races. The Runner's Knee, I think it's called, gives you a bunch of like strength work and like body weight work that you can do to like, if you get a nagging injury. I mean, there's hundreds, and
Yeah.
I'll put some in there. I'll send them to you, and you can.
Who's
put 'em in
who's that really funny girl that's like
Laura Green is.
she's hilarious.
Yeah, so she's a runner, and she does like running meme, like parody videos, and she's pretty funny.
She literally hits the nail on the head with every video that she does, and it's always like making fun of runners, but like she's obviously a really great runner. So anyway, well, thanks for the update. I feel like there's some helpful tips, and hopefully that answers some questions for our listeners who have been wanting to kind of
And lucky
know
enough,
what to
if there's more questions, I think you can get me to come back on.
I know.
We'll get the
come up
booking
with
agent to reach out. But
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to get a hold of me.
Perfect. Okay, so like I said earlier, we are going through your submissions on funny arguments that you get into, and Chris and I are going to play advice referee from afar. We have the easy jobs here, but I think some of these we're going to be very opinionated on.
We're definitely going to disagree.
Oh, for sure. I was reading over a few of them, and I was already like, no, like he's going to say this and we're going to argue, but it is what it is. So we've got some questions that you guys submitted. I'm going to read them and we will discuss. Let's do it. All right. So first one, this is classic. Which way does the toilet paper roll go on the holder? Does it go over or under?
All right, so we're going to 1, 2, 3 say the answer.
No, just what's your opinion? We'll discuss.
Well, it's over.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like I actually think about when people put it the opposite way, and I'm like, but like why? I want to know like how that made sense to them.
So it doesn't make sense because if you go to like a hotel that has the little like curver thing on top, if you went under, the curver thing wouldn't be able to rip the toilet paper.
Right.
So it has to be over.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Okay, this person said, my husband leaves the toilet seat up always. Also, he never washes his hands after.
I mean, when you're a single guy, you never put the toilet seat down. But I mean, we've been married. It'll be 9 years in August.
Yeah, you actually left the toilet seat up the other day.
I don't believe that.
Literally, it was a morning I left early and I came back and I was like, that's so weird. Why is the toilet seat up? Because like you're usually really good.
That's the first time in years that I've left it up.
I know. I was like, is everything okay? Like, is he around here? Did he use this toilet last?
Maybe it was the kids. Who knows?
Okay, what about washing your hands after?
I'm pretty good about washing my hands after I go to the bathroom.
Sometimes I don't. Like, I don't know. Like, which is gross, but like, I don't know.
I think the hand washing thing kind of changed after COVID, where everyone just got into this funk of like washing your hands 1,000 times a day. And we all had these crusty, like lotioned hands from all the like hand sanitizer where I just felt my hands were going to burn off at one point.
True.
But I think I'm pretty good about washing my hands.
Yeah. Okay, this person said that her husband left a dish in the sink when the dishwasher was empty. It almost ended their marriage. Actually, like several people said that. I think we've both been guilty of this. And we've both just kind of like, I feel like at different points of our lives, one of us will be the one like heavily doing the dishes and the other isn't. So on those times, it has annoyed both of us when it's like, just put the dish in the dishwasher, like it's empty.
And I also have a weird OCD where you load the dishes differently than I do. And it
brings us into our next question.
Just bothers me.
Okay, but like why?
Because if I'm going to unload it, I want to know where everything is. And I have like a formula that it's like, all right, all the stuff that's going in this drawer is all kind of in a line. And then the stuff in the other drawer is in a line. So it's like,
so
quickly,
you do the dishwasher, you load it like to consider where you're going to put it away. Yeah. That's good to know. I'm glad we're having this discussion because I've literally been like, why does he care? Who cares? It's like getting washed.
I have like a weird OCD about it, but yeah.
It's funny because I feel like my mom is an excellent like dishwasher, like stacker in the dishwasher.
Yeah, your mom plays like Jenga when she puts those things
in.
And
she gets so much in there. And so then we move in together and I'm like, okay, well, like obviously I learned from like the best dishwasher person. And then he's like, no, this here, I'll just do it. And I'm like, okay, like I'm offended that you don't think my dishwashing loading skills are good.
You can load a dishwasher. You just can't load it in the way that I want it loaded for when I have to inevitably unload the dishwasher.
Yeah. So that's fine. You like, he will literally be like, here, just stop. Like, I'll just do it. And I'm like, okay.
Well, we just learned something.
Okay. But I agree. Now I'm going to like, I
Think
need
about
to
it when
pay
you-
attention to your, maybe next time it's clean, I will look at like, see.
Yeah, you'll see all the small plates are all in a row, so you can just grab that stack, and the big plates are right behind them, so you can grab that stack, put them on top of each other, and then the little like bowl things that we eat pasta out of, that's all in the next row. So it's like boom, 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 and I can just stack them all up and put them in the drawer.
Okay. What about you always empty the dishwasher with like the bottom first?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just like pull out the top.
And all the water that doesn't get rinsed, that doesn't dry off, just dumps onto the bottom row.
Yeah. Like, and then it's going to have a
but
few
then
minutes to dry while
But then I have to wipe off the top row and the bottom row. Whereas if I pull the bottom row out first, I don't have to wipe off the bottom row.
It just kind of depends on like, am I feeling like cups first or plates first? Like, you are so like, this is the
I don't know
way.
why. I just have like an OCD about it. Maybe I have OCD. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Taking out the trash when the bag is full. Don't jam more garbage into it and leave it. Just take the trash out and always make sure to put a new trash bag in. I feel like you are good about taking out the trash when it's full.
Yeah.
But sometimes you won't always put the bag in right away.
If you see me take the trash out, team player would say, hey, he's pulling the bag. He's going to walk it outside and put it in the garbage disposal. Maybe while he's doing that, I'll put a new bag in as an assist, and we'll do this together as a unit.
Another thing that's good to know now, because sometimes I do that, but then sometimes I'm doing other things, and then it's like I go to throw something away, and it's like it was forgotten.
We're pretty good about not jamming the bag down, though.
Right. Like if it's full, like you just take it out, and I take it out or you take it out, like either of us. There's no.
Because I don't think even with ours, like you can't get much more out of it. I think at the last house,
I purposefully like asked for the bin that was like that size of the trash bag because I was like, we're wasting so much space at our other house. Yeah. So that was a request.
That was a savvy move.
Okay. This person said it annoys her when her boyfriend drops his clothes and hops into bed. Like, put your clothes in the hamper. Okay, so just like leaving the clothes on the floor. Interesting.
Well, you sleep with, like, you go change and put pajamas on. You wear like a full set of pajamas every single night.
I'm cold.
Yeah. I don't. And like if I'm
but you like leave your clothes from the day in the closet.
Correct.
And then you like come over. And if you had on like pants or like a shirt, you would just leave that, but it's like comfy clothes. I think this is saying.
But at the old house, I sometimes used to leave, like, if I had, like in the winter, if I had pajama pants on, it was like lounging prior to bed, I'd leave them next to the bed.
Yeah.
But I was pretty good about picking those up.
I mean, sometimes there would be like a pile that would just accumulate over there. I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah.
That was just pajama pants from like a few nights.
But I knew I was putting them right back on.
That's true. Okay. What about, leaving? Somebody said like their spouse leaves the lights on when they leave a room or leaves like a cabinet door open or drawers open. I don't think we really have. I mean, I just think turn it off. Lights are different because we have a lot of like lights that just stay on throughout the day.
Yeah.
But like at Shay's house, if you leave the room, like you turn the light out and she like.
But you have like, we have a lot of the can lights and like.
Yeah,
stuff that's like on, like dimmers.
True.
That you keep on.
Yeah, and like.
And we don't shut off all the lights anyway because with our room being on the main and the kids being upstairs, we leave a light on in case they come downstairs in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but I think I have seen like when people like open a cabinet door and then they just like don't close it, and it's like.
I've done that like a couple times.
You
and
do
you've
that
gotten
with like
so
the
mad.
medicine or like spices. Like you'll just like leave it open and then we'll like come sit down and eat dinner. And I'm like, why are all these?
I was in the
open?
kitchen. I was cooking. I was getting it and just getting into a groove.
Yeah.
And I just forgot about it. Maybe I was going to get another spice. I don't know.
Okay, what do you think about like leaving like shaved hair or like toothpaste in the sink and not just like wiping it away?
Disgusting.
I know. It's
Clean up.
like, although you and I have both like just in our last house, you had your own sink, I had my own sink, and then we did that again.
Yeah.
We haven't shared a sink
In a while.
but yeah, I feel like we were both.
I'm pretty
really,
good about though. Like if I like trim my beard, I
like clean
rinse
it
it
up.
all off. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's kind of
And
just like,
and even the kids' bathrooms, like after they brush their teeth and inevitably get toothpaste everywhere, I always make sure I wipe it down.
okay. So those were like the most repeated questions, which I feel like are everybody's kind of, this or that annoying type of thing. These next group of questions are like specific things that people wrote in, like with a specific example. Okay, so this one says, it's one we laugh about often. Basically, we both had hibachi leftovers that we were excited to dig into, but only I planned ahead and asked for yum yum sauce to go. The sauce of all the sauces. The next day, he was eating his leftovers, and by the time I went for mine, the sauce was over half used. Needless to say, this caused a dumb argument which ended in the word selfish being thrown around since I didn't want to share my sauce. We always have 3 bottles in our fridge now. So,
I mean,
but like she purposely asked for a side and then he took it, like took more than half. Maybe
he didn't take more than half. He said he took
over
half.
half used. So like, yeah,
He didn't
I think
use all of
that's
it.
kind of right, but she could probably dip like 1 shrimp in.
I mean,
That's
all right,
a
so,
sauce you kind of need like 2 extra each,
I mean, she's not wrong. Yum yum sauce is the best sauce. And for hibachi, it's so good.
It is kind of funny though that like saying selfish. I feel like I am kind of selfish when it comes to food. Like I don't really like to share.
You don't share.
Like I really am like, please get your own. But then
But then you always
expect
ask
you to
me
share.
to share. Yeah.
Because, what's mine is mine and what's yours is ours.
Yeah.
So, but like I get like
I get why she's upset.
I get how this is frustrating.
I get why she's upset.
I like that there's a solution. They now have 3 bottles. No one's getting hurt.
We keep bottles in our house. We do a yum yum and a spicy mayo because if you do a little half and half on those with your hibachi, chef's kiss. I don't know if anything, I think he would be the selfish one for taking what was hers.
I agree. Or at least clarifying like, hey, I see this is one sauce. I didn't get it.
But at the same
Can I
time,
have some?
I would have wanted, if I had leftovers and saw yum yum, I'm definitely going to
go for it and be like, oops, like ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, that would definitely be an ask for forgiveness. It would be a, hey, I thought you just got it for both of us. That's why I only used half. I just thought it was for us.
Okay. Speaking of sauces, you like to keep the like sauce from Chick-fil-A or like whatever the small little like.
The honey roasted barbecue
Yeah,
sauce.
like the small.
That is also up there in terms of goat sauces,
But like, to me, I like if I'm cleaning up Chick-fil-A after, like I just throw it all away. And he is like eyes wide right now.
Well, it's eyes wide because we ordered lunch today from the same place. And they gave me like one little thing of ketchup and I wanted another sauce for it. It was an avocado bowl from Cafe on Lumpkin. It's fantastic if you're in Athens. Easily one of my favorite lunch spots. But I wanted a little bit of sauce to it. So I went into our team sauce like drawer in the kitchen
at the office.
And I kid you not, there is 39 containers of Chick-fil-A Zesty Buffalo.
Yeah. And
so I'm not the only one who decides to save the sauces for later.
But I think it makes sense at the office. Like this is like a community. At our house, it's just like we have the sauce like in the fridge.
We have Chick-fil-A sauce in a bottle.
Yeah.
We have other sauces in a bottle, but we don't have honey roasted barbecue sauce. And I haven't found one that's as good as Chick-fil-A. And sometimes on my nuggets, that's just kind of what I want.
They should like bottle that.
They absolutely should. Because all you can get is the Polynesian and the Chick-fil-A.
We should write a letter to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Okay, this person said that her husband leaves his wet towel on the bed after showering.
I don't do this at the house, but I do this at the beach house.
I know. Like, and I'm always like, why can't you just hang it back? There's like a huge rack.
I know.
Like, why?
It just...
Or you like throw it on one of those other upholstered chairs.
Yep, sure do.
And I'm like, that's going to get moldy.
Yeah, that's on me. I know I shouldn't do it, but I do it.
Is it one of those things that you like set it there and you're like, I know I should move that? And
no, I just don't even think about it. I like, because we're creatures of habit and I'm used to like taking a shower and then getting dressed a certain way. When I go to the beach house, it's different. So it's like, ooh, I'm like, I go into the bedroom with my towel on. And now I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me get my clothes. And I get dressed and never even think to go back into the bathroom because I'm already done in the bathroom. And then I forget to leave and I leave the towel there.
Okay.
So that's on me.
I get it. Okay. This person said that her husband needs to drive 9 over the speed limit always. It's too fast. And then he also goes on and off on the accelerator. I'm going to have to disagree with you. 9 over is not too fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, should we tell the story about you getting or trying to get your learner's permit?
So I had already had my learner's permit and I was taking like driving, like driver's ed. Like I did like a class for a week or something to like lower my insurance. And it was my turn to drive. And I'm driving and the instructor's like, okay, the speed limit's 45, like let's go ahead. And so we're driving down the road and I'm like 47, 49, 51, 53. And he is like panicking as if I am like flying. And he's like, you have to slow down. The speed limit is 45. You have to go 45. And I was like, really? My parents always said that I could go at least 10 over. And like that was like what I have learned, up until this point of my driver's license. So to me, I'm always like, oh yeah, like 9 over is usually cops don't.
You gotta hit double digits to usually get a ticket.
Kat is shaking her head behind the scenes. She just got a ticket the other day. A super speeder. It's not good.
That was a construction zone, so
I know.
Not great.
I know. Okay, not to rub salt into a wound, but
I want to go back to a point here. The instructor with the white knuckle while driving. I want you to remember that, and I want you to remember that feeling you had while driving the next time we drive anywhere that I'm driving and you're sitting in the passenger seat. Because unfortunately, I've been doing this long enough and driving long enough, 20 years at this point.
I don't know.
I feel very comfortable handling an SUV and handling a vehicle. I don't need a co-pilot who is doing all the movements to make me, make sure that I don't hit the car 100 yards in front of me. So just want you to remember that.
Okay. I'm really good at being like, hey, the light's green. Like, go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you
get so much joy out of it is why I get upset. You get so much joy.
Well, because mostly I'm like, are you looking at your phone? Why are you not looking at the like light ahead to just go? But now, because this is like a point of, argument, I'll wait.
Oh, you are so petty about it.
I will wait until like the cars are like have gone through the intersection. We're still just sitting there. And then I'm like, go. And he looks up and it's like clearly been a little while.
No, it's been like a second. The car in front of me is not even through the intersection yet.
They usually are.
That's unbelievable. So let's just top it all off with, we've been in Athens for 4 years as of last month. How many times have we gone as a family somewhere, anywhere, and you be the one who drives and not me?
Probably 5.
If that. So.
I know, but you're just, it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's sort of like, I grew up where like the dad just always like was the driver.
Your mom does all the driving now.
Well, she does now because my dad doesn't like to drive now. And I don't know, but he did all the driving. And so I'm just like, okay, like But I also do like a lot of work in the car. So I'm always like, well, if I'm not driving, I can be like working or, doing whatever. And so you always
Not all
drive.
the times, but that's okay.
That's just is what it is. Do you want me to drive more?
I would love for you to drive more.
TBD.
I'm just going to tell you right now, friends, she's not going to drive.
You heard it here first. Okay, so this person said, when we were first married and dead broke, our first fight was over him using too much deli turkey on his sandwich because we couldn't afford more. I could live on one slice and ration, and I expected him to do the same. I mean, I definitely get that. Like, maybe we need to have some ground rules. Like, hey, let's discuss. Like, are we going to be like a 2 slice each? Like,
Well, human bodies, usually, let's just talk about me and you. I'm 80 pounds bigger than you.
Probably.
I think I need a couple more slices of turkey than you do to support my frame.
I mean,
I'm on his side on this one.
I see her point, like how she could have assumed that, but I also am like, okay, this could probably be solved by a conversation, like, hey, you always, what they say when you assume. So
Sure do. But no, if we're both making turkey sandwiches, yours is probably going to be thinner than mine.
Okay, so my husband has loud sneezes, 3 in a row. When my husband sneezes, it shakes the house. My daughter, who is 10, when someone sneezes normally, she says, "See, Dad, people sneeze at a normal level all the time." I feel like you kind of have like an aggressive sneeze.
I do.
It's not, and like sometimes I think about that. I'm like, can you just like try to like.
There's a reason your body's sneezing. I'm not going to stop it.
You're so like realistic.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I got to sneeze. It's going to happen. It's going to be loud.
I know, but it's like.
I do.
It's like so aggressive. Yeah. It's not like 3 times. No. It's usually just
it's one loud like volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
I know, but do you ever like want it to be less? Or you're just kind of like, this is just my sneeze and like, I don't care. Maybe
when I was younger, because it's loud and obnoxious and it could be kind of embarrassing. At this point, I'm like, yeah.
I got to sneeze.
Yeah, we're going to let this rip.
Okay. Do you think I have like a normal sneeze or I don't know?
Yours is like a little beep. little petite little.
I don't think that's true.
That's absolutely true.
All right. This person said that she cleans off the counter every night and somehow she's always blamed for the missing AirPods. Well, don't leave your AirPods on the counter.
Okay. So a couple thoughts on this one. I've lost things that have a specific home.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't like their specific home.
Right.
And you would put them in places that I would never look. Like I lost my laptop computer one time because you put it in like the bedside table drawer. I would have never looked there in a million years.
Yeah. I think mostly the stuff on the counter is not a home for the stuff.
At our last house, it was.
You had a drawer.
Yeah, but the drawer would fill up.
So then you need to clean it out. Because you would clean it out and then there'd be so much more space.
And then I would get more things that needed to go in there and next thing I know. No. But also a computer doesn't fit in the drawer.
I know, but.
So I would put the computer and maybe my AirPods.
I was probably doing the pre-clean for the cleaners, yeah. Like how people go. It's like.
Is that one of the questions on here? Because I would love to rehash that, the clean for the cleaners.
Yeah. This is like a
That's
joke.
That's our argument.
Is like cleaning. But you just have to put your stuff away. So then they have a room to clean the surfaces. What are you expecting them to do? Just lift up your stuff, wipe, set it back?
If it's I don't know, if it's a kid's painting, maybe go put it with the other ones.
But where are the other ones? Do they know?
Then you know what? We should sit them down and we will go over, this is where everything in the house goes. And then we'll be good.
Okay.
I don't want to do that though. It seems like a lot of work.
Exactly.
But I can't get over the clean for the cleaners. Like that's just one thing I'm never gonna.
I think that like we're not that bad at it anymore.
No.
Like I know people who will like literally clean
Yeah.
their house and then the cleaners will come like deep clean it. And I'm like, that's not the point. Like if you have somebody who's coming to like clean, that's what they're doing. You just have to move your stuff or put it away so they can get to where they have to clean, I think.
We might come back to that one. I don't know yet.
Okay, so this person says, OMG, when we go on vacation, all he wants to do is spend all day in the room and I want to go out and about.
So I can see both sides to this depending on where you go. So let's talk. There's different types of vacations. There's like when we went to Tokyo. Tokyo is not a city that you go to. Now, granted, we were going for the race, but it's not a city you go to just like sit around in. It's like, hey, let's go do touristy things. Let's see the Imperial Palace. Let's see the, where the cherry blossom teas will be. Let's see the cool shops.
But I think like just like a vacation to like the beach or somewhere where you're just like having like, so I guess, is it like a time off trip where you're just like going somewhere because you have time off? So you want to just relax? All right, let's talk about the beach.
So the out and about thing. When she says out and about, does she mean like exploring or does she mean like going to the beach and like sitting at the beach? Because I think if there's two different types of vacations. There's the relaxing vacation and then there's the we're going to do a bunch of activities vacation.
Yeah.
Like if you have an itinerary for a vacation, I probably need a vacation from my vacation.
Right.
Because I'm going to come back more tired than when I left.
Right.
Or do I have the relaxing vacation where, hey, you know what? Maybe we're going to relax in the room for a little bit. Maybe we'll go down to the beach. But we're not going to go play pickleball. We're not going to go walk around town. We're not going to go exploring. We're just going to go relax.
Okay. Who retucks the kids in for bed the 20th time? The disciplinarian or the soft parent? This is our nightly dispute.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm kind of, so we sort of, usually Collins is like pretty good.
Yeah.
Put her in bed. She's good. Hazel lately has been the one where like she doesn't want to go to bed, so she wants to like talk and sing and she needs to tell you all the things and and you're just like, oh my gosh, go to sleep. And I sort of think like if you put her to sleep,
I was gonna say,
it's
kind of
your
been
responsibility to like.
It's an unspoken rule that
up.
whoever puts, because we split the kids at night, so I have one, you have one. Whatever kid wakes up or needs to be tucked back in whoever responsible is the one who started it.
Yeah. Like there are times though where like they will specifically call for one of us, or like if let's say I put her to sleep, but then I'm now like doing something and I'll be like, hey, can you just go like, and sometimes sending the opposite parent definitely helps.
Yeah.
Then be like, hey, like we're not coming back up here, go to bed. I would never let it get to 20 times. But I also feel like there's different life stages. Like Collins can't get, or Hazel can't, she's in her crib still for like a few more days. And,
it's going to be an adventure. We might be having the 20th time.
That's true. This could be.
Luckily, Collins has always been pretty good. We got the hatch light and she's respected that for the most part until recently where she gets up.
She just like wants to come hang.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of fun. So
we'll see. But in terms of the disciplinarian or the soft parent, I think you start with soft and then
send in the
disciplinarian at the end. Because if we go through 20 times, then I'm going to have to nip that in the bud. If it's a nightly thing, then I would go soft at the beginning and then disciplinarian to close this out.
Yeah. But I also think like just finish the drill. Like make sure your kid that you put to bed that night is going to bed. That's what I would say. Okay, how to plan a vacation. He wanted to be able to say, we have X days in a city, so all we can do are these 3 things. And in city B, we can do these 5 things, and not really researching ahead of time on all that you could do in the city. To me, it made more sense to understand what the city had to offer, pick your must-dos and sees, and dedicate to these needed days. So I guess it's like, how do you plan a vacation?
Yeah, I would go. Unfortunately, I'm with her on this one. I would pick if I was going to go to 2 different cities and they offered 2 like separate things, or even the same thing, like you look at like if you're going to go to Europe and you're able to see, Rome and Florence, or
Yeah. You kind of got to like figure out your plan based on like where you're going to be.
Yeah.
And then that might determine how long you're going to be there.
Yeah, I would rather figure out, all right, we're going to this city. These are the list of the 5 things that we want to see in this city. Well, when we go to this city, I only really need to do 2, so we could probably shorten our time there. If you're on a time crunch where it's just worked out where you're going to be going the other way and you're like, no, the way it works out, we're on a cruise and we're doing 2 days here and we're going to do 4 days over here, well, then you kind of got to go that route. But I would prefer to plan it the way of, hey, we're going to Florida and all right, we're going to hit 3 cities. Let's see which, we're going to hit Orlando, Jacksonville, and Tampa. And we're going to look at these cities and go, all right, when I'm in Orlando, I want to do this. When I'm in Tampa, I want to do this. When I'm in Jacksonville, I want to do this. And then from there, figure out how long I'm going to spend in each city.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If I'm forced into it, then I would see his way. But I would prefer to go her way.
Right. Okay, I can deal with this person. This one says the number of alarms set in the morning. I sometimes wonder how you sleep through them.
So I'm a heavy sleeper. I could sleep through a hurricane. It's just, I am as the Lord made me. And it's one of my better qualities that I can sleep through anything.
Yeah. Okay.
However, I set multiple alarms in the morning and they start going off around 4:50.
Yeah. And usually then I'll just hit him once and then he'll hit the alarm and then another one will go off. I'll hit him. But one thing I realized the other day, I was up before you and I was over in the laundry room and your alarm was going off and I could hear it clear as day over there. So then it made me think I wonder if
you should have ran upstairs to see if you could hear it. Test the theory.
We'll have to try it out, But I do think we both set a lot of alarms. And it's almost a bad thing. I need to go back to you got one alarm. There's not a bunch of opportunity to
snooze.
Yeah.
Because mine are set too, where it snoozes for if you have a 5 o'clock alarm, and you hit snooze, it'll go off at 5:09.
Yeah.
So I set mine 5, 5:10, 5:20.
Yeah.
So
then they're
so I'm getting the double at the 9-minute mark and the 10-minute mark.
AKA I'm getting the double.
Well, we're both getting it, but you're falling right back to sleep. I'm not.
I know. Yeah, that's true. Okay. This person said she hates when people mispronounce words. The worst for my ears is supposedly instead of supposedly. I feel I could see how that might be a pet peeve.
Yeah, I absolutely get that.
It's funny though when some I'm wait, that's what you thought that was saying?
The best is when people just get it completely wrong. And you're like, wait, what did you say?
I know.
There was a funny Twitter thread of all the
just different mispronounced words.
And might as well
right.
was Midas Whale, MIDASWALE. I don't think I've laughed harder than when I read that. I audibly gasped at this person's pronunciation of it.
That's so funny. Okay, whose job is it to empty out the pockets? The wearer or the washer?
It's the wearer. I
do too. Get your stuff out of your pockets.
Yeah.
That's easy. Okay, Netflix cheating. Don't watch our shows without one another. I feel we haven't had a problem with this.
We have not. But
tell them about your friend.
Yeah. Our friends Brandon and Lauren had the best one. This was back when Game of Thrones was still on. And that was a show that you had to watch in the moment.
Yeah. Or else all the spoilers would.
Yeah, spoilers were tough. And it was one of those things, it's hey, if you don't watch it, you better avoid the internet because people are talking about it. I don't know if we've had a show since then that was that social media driven where it was you had to avoid the internet if you didn't watch it in real time. But what they did was if one of them fell asleep or during the show, or if one of them just didn't see it or wanted to rewatch, he drew up a contract that basically said they were able to watch the show together. And however, if one person fell asleep, the other person could continue watching it, but could not watch an additional episode. And And if it was that person's responsibility to catch up on their own time so that the next night when they were going to rewatch it again or watching the next episode,
they were ready.
Yeah.
They had to be ready. It was so funny. And they posted on Facebook and they both had to sign it.
Yeah, it was like a signed contract. It was so funny.
And then I feel like it made so much sense. But I feel like we're pretty good about that. Or if I'm like not into a show, then you just kind of like take it and watch it on your own or whatever. But usually
The worst is when you start watching a show and then you want to watch it with me, and then you'll let me watch like an episode, and then you'll watch 4 more, and I'm like, well, you got to catch me up because now I have zero idea what's happening. I don't know any of the backstory, and you're expecting me to want to watch it, and I'm like, well, I don't because I don't know what's happening.
I know. Yeah, that's true. Sorry about that.
So you've done that once or twice.
Okay. Thoughts on the top sheet on your bed, like on the bed, top sheet or no top sheet? So that would be like on our bed, we have like the sheet that's over the mattress, like the fitted sheet. And then there's the sheet that goes between the comforter and the fitted sheet.
Yep.
So that sheet, which is called the flat sheet.
Okay.
Do you think we need a flat sheet or do you think we just go like raw comforter?
I'd be fine with either. I don't really care. But I feel like you need a flat sheet.
Yeah.
You just
also, I don't know if
you've
noticed, but since we moved to our house, we've added a layer.
Yeah, we have. And I'm so hot. I'll wake up and I'm just like not under any of the covers.
I know. I just like the way it works on the bed.
You just run cold. I could have the AC like not on.
I know.
You
just
could
like
wear
the weight of all the things. Just so
I'm gonna
nice.
just get you a weighted blanket.
It's probably a good idea.
Like a full size weighted blanket, and
you
just let
like
you
lay that on me.
And we could take all the other layers
so
off.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the radio. Who decides, the driver or the passenger?
Driver gets to pick.
Really?
Driver gets to pick, or I'll say this: passenger has to play DJ, but driver gets veto power.
Huh. Okay.
So like you got to run the 1s and 2s, but if you put a song on I don't like, I have the ability to say skip.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, sweet potato casserole. Is this a side dish or dessert on Thanksgiving?
We run it as a side dish.
I think so too.
I mean, the kids think it's a dessert, but
because we put marshmallows on top, brown sugar and marshmallows. Yeah.
I make mine pretty sweet.
But I do think there's people who make
also,
it like not as sweet.
I make it.
I know.
It's like one of my specialties.
Yeah. Like sometimes the girls will request that, like not even around Thanksgiving because to them it's like a dessert.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, here's your sweet potatoes.
Hey, it's a vegetable that they're eating. Don't worry about the sugar and cinnamon and marshmallows in it, but it's fine.
Okay, what about the temperature in the house? This is one we've battled on for years.
I would set it in the 60s, but you would legitimately freeze to death.
I know.
Or you wouldn't actually freeze to death. You would say you're freezing to death.
Because it's cold. Like, I mean, I wear slippers, like fuzzy slippers all the time to walk around.
You wear like fuzzy socks sometimes to sleep in.
Yeah, in the winter.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this one's on here.
Our temp is set at 71.
Yeah.
And I would love it to be colder, but I'm not going to win that battle, so.
But like, you're not uncomfortable.
I don't have the ability to wear pajamas to bed and sleep in coziness because it's too hot. I don't sleep naked. I sleep in my underwear, but just want to get that out there.
I mean, I don't. It is what it is. Let's see here. This person said, my husband acts like he has a monopoly on being tired.
What does your husband do?
Yeah, I guess like maybe if he's... But I mean,
I'm not going to say anything because if he's like a roofer in the summer, like he might be tired all the time.
Yeah. I guess it's more like, oh, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. It's like, well, what if she's so tired too? Like, but she's not complaining about it all the time. I mean, we're also speculating. That's all it says, but I don't know.
I think one thing as a society we should be better at is not unloading that on our spouses. Like, oh, I'm tired or you're tired. Like whoever says it, we should try and be better at staying positive, especially like you get an example of like say I go play golf. Like I shouldn't come home and be like, oh, I'm tired. It was a long round of golf. Like,
right.
I should be, I can be tired. Like, I'm not saying that that's not normal, but I think we should, like, when we're answering questions, we should, and someone says like, oh, how's your day? Oh, it's going all right. Like, we should just try and be more positive as a society, and don't just be always like, long day, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try and be better. Because I definitely do it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Bring it in.
It's getting introspective on myself.
Yeah. Okay, so this person says using a scrunchy sponge thing in the shower or a washcloth. So like a loofah.
Yeah, I'm team
or loofah. Washcloth. Husband thinks loofahs are disgusting. Must use a clean washcloth each time.
Yeah, I'm team loofah.
I am too.
A clean washcloth every time.
I don't really understand how washcloths work. I mean, I know that's like really crazy to say, but like you can't like get a really good lather in like a washcloth compared to a loofah.
I mean, you can definitely get a lather.
I don't know. I just feel like I never have. Especially if you're using a bar of soap and a washcloth. Like, why? Like, why? What? I've never really been like a washcloth person, literally ever.
The only time I am now is like at a hotel. If we travel separately, because you're usually pretty good about packing a loofah.
I will get like a to-go, I call them to-go loofahs, and that's the one from the $1 section.
It's a travel size, not a to-go.
Whatever. And okay, so here's another one, which we're not going to have anybody to debate this because we have had to share a loofah before.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that's weird.
It's getting cleaned with all the soap that's getting put on it. So why would it be bad?
I know. But
like, I feel like, you know what?
If we
were to use the same washcloth, that'd be kind of grimy. Also, the fact that he needs a clean one every time, you must be going, like, unless you're doing laundry multiple times a week, you must have
maybe he has like 7 washcloths.
7, maybe 8.
And what if he's like a double shower? Like a 2 like showers in the morning and the night. I don't know. I think the loofah is just fine.
Yeah, I don't find the loofah to be disgusting, but I do find sharing a washcloth.
Maybe because like if you're dirty and you use a washcloth,
and it's a white one, you can see the grime. Ugh.
Yeah. Ew. Okay. What are your thoughts on getting a big dog versus a little dog?
I've never had a little dog, so I can't answer that.
Yeah, we've always had big dogs. I mean, we had Spencer.
You've had little dogs. I haven't.
Yeah.
So I had Labs and then
my family.
Birdie. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of have always wanted like a Frenchie. Just like a little like cute Frenchie. Or like.
I don't know how Birdie would handle that. That's not fair to her.
I know.
She's getting old.
That's true. Okay, this is a good one. How much time it takes a man to use the bathroom?
That's my time. That's just, I'm going to scroll. I'm going to catch up maybe on all the Instagrams that I've missed that have been sent to me. I'm going to catch up on Twitter. I mean, there have been times where if I'm by myself, I've literally run out of internet. I basically made it to the end of the internet and was like, all right, well, I guess I got to get up now.
Like, are you not like, is it not like smelly? Or will you do like a courtesy flush to yourself?
You have to take care of yourself. But I've woken up with like my foot
nose.
Completely falling asleep, like can't even stand. Oh yeah.
When is this happening?
Usually when I'm alone.
I feel like during COVID, there were definitely times where it was like, all right, like I'm going to the bathroom, like I need a second. Like that was our cue to be like, you're tapping in, I'm going to like sit in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And however long I take is how long I take.
Yeah.
And we'll like tap in and out sometimes. Yeah. But I don't sit in it the way that you do, Okay, what are your thoughts on driving through yellow lights? Do you stop or gun it?
I've definitely gunned it and gotten tickets for it. But I also I'll roll through yellow if I'm especially in town. I've driven through every traffic light in town at this point for the most part, or everyone that I'm going to drive through. So I know which ones are quick yellows and slow yellows. I can time it up pretty well and I'll make it through a yellow.
Okay. What about another question is, do you wash your feet in the shower?
So Sometimes I do.
Like the bottom of your feet, or
Yeah.
just like let the water just like.
So every now and again, if I catch a wild hair, I'll wash lift up the leg, do the bottom of the foot. Otherwise, there's enough soap and water in there. They're kind of getting washed.
They're getting like soapy.
Yeah, they're getting soap water on them.
I do think there's something about like if you've been outside all day
Yes.
and then you like wash your feet and then get into bed, like that is like a new level of luxury unlocked. Like you just feel like clean the bottom of your
So literally just like stick your feet in the tub and like wash your feet.
I've done that before. Yeah. If it's like that instantly like makes me not feel dirty. If I've been like outside.
So just sweat, dirt, grind everywhere else, but my feet are clean, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, a few other people asked about like, if you have clean sheets, do you have to shower before you get into the clean sheets?
I shower every morning, so I'm not a typical shower at night guy.
I know, I'm not either. But like, some people think it's disgusting. Like Nichelle has to shower every night. Like she's like, no, I cannot get into bed. Like,
Does she get up and shower in the morning too?
no, like she's a nighttime showerer. Like, but then I know there's some people who are both, like who shower twice a day, which feels like a lot of time.
A lot of water.
A lot of water, a lot of towels. Okay, what's the best Starburst flavor?
Pink or red?
Obviously pink.
Yeah, it's pink and then red's a close second.
This person's husband insists the best flavor is orange.
Yeah, it's just not true.
Orange is the flavor that I'll give like my kids who haven't developed a taste for them yet.
They don't know the luxury of pink and
right.
red. Like,
I'm like, here, I'll take the pinks.
Didn't they make a pack of pink and red Starburst?
Yes.
So that answers the question.
Right.
There's not an
no
orange
one
pack.
wants a yellow and orange pack, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm sure somebody does. Okay.
If they do, they marry each other. Unless you're this guy.
That's really true. Okay. This person said, our home gym, my husband leaves the mat disgusting and wet from sweat.
I don't know. There's definitely days where if I'm like in a rush, I'll wipe it down. But I like bought the like gym wipes that I keep in the gym.
And then you just like wipe
down.
everything down. Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, we only have time for a few more. This one says farting without warning, farting in bed or farting in front of your spouse.
Give a warning? Like, no.
Just let it rip. Yeah, no.
I'm not giving a warning.
How would that be? Like, hey, I'm about to fart.
Yeah.
Because then that's more like, ew, go away.
Yeah.
And maybe you just like hope it doesn't make a sound.
I'm also weird. I'm not like farting on you.
That's true.
But
it's so funny because our kids are in this stage right now of like passing gas.
And they think it's hysterical.
And they think it is so funny if it like makes a sound, which it usually always does. And then they like try to like keep passing gas. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And they think it's funny that we're getting mad that they're doing that. It's a whole thing. Yeah. So, okay, this next question says the disease need to pop her husband's pimples. He gets so angry. I feel like I can relate to this a little bit. Not in the need to pop your pimples, because I feel like I have if you've been like, hey, can you help me get this? But I feel like you'll have like a hair, like your eyebrows or something. One of your eyebrows will be like super long and going in the wrong direction. I'm like, let me just get it. Yeah. And you're always.
And you get pure joy out of it.
Well, because I'm like, it doesn't hurt that much.
It doesn't feel good.
He's like, yes,
you're like
it does.
Giggling over it like you're Patrick Bateman. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It's just kind of funny. I don't know. I feel like there were some.
The cold shower.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just think that's like a husband and wife thing though. Because
you literally
love
burn
a hot
yourself.
Shower.
It's not hot. It's burn.
I want to come out red. Like fry me up.
No.
And you literally take like freezing cold showers.
To me, it feels perfect. And sometimes even too warm.
Too warm?
You gotta remember, I'm taking a shower after I like either run or work out. Like, I'm hot.
True. I know. Even after I'm like hot, I just like want to be like soaked. Like a warm soap.
Yeah, but then I get out and then I sweat.
Yeah, but you sweat more than I do.
I do.
Like you're a sweater, so you have to like cool down. And I guess that's where like a cold shower will cool you down. Whereas like I just want to be.
The worst was at the old job where I'd have to put the suit back on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, go work out, sweaty, and then take a shower, and then have to put a suit on right away.
Yeah,
that was tough.
Well, obviously this was all meant to just normalize the little things that pop up, have some funny banter. We are obviously love marriage and support getting through, and you know, you kind of have to have all these like little conversations and things like that. So this was a fun episode.
Well, it's helped us because now you know why I'm OCD on the dishwasher.
I know. I learned something early on in this episode I'm going to pay attention to next time. Okay, so wrapping up our episode today, we always ask our guests about like a random act of kindness that they've experienced or have seen or something that's made a lasting impact on them. Do you have anything that comes to mind for you?
An act of kindness. Funny enough, Hazel wasn't going to school today, but Collins was. And during Hazel's birthday party, we had little gift baskets that we put together for all the kids who came to her party. Well, one of Collins's little buddies, obviously this was Hazel's party, so she wasn't coming. And yesterday she asked me how to spell her friend's name. So I like told her how to spell it, and she writes it on a piece of blue painter's tape, puts it on a bag, and like puts the bag off to the side. This morning, as I'm dropping her off at school, she grabs the bag and brings it with her, and she's like, "This is for so-and-so." And I'm like, okay. And then I look in the bag, and it's none of the stuff from the party. Like we had like little knick-knack toys for the kids, right? She put her own toys in it. She put her own little
she had like a beaded necklace, I think.
Yeah, it was a necklace. It was a little unicorn, like the squish thing that you pop her, that she had gotten off something else. So she like filled it up with all of her own stuff. And I was like, well, what's all this all about? And she was like, well, she didn't come to the party, so I thought of her, and I wanted to give her her own basket.
So sweet.
And so we get to school this morning, and she's like, we're getting ready to go to our classroom, and she's like, well, she's not here today. She's on vacation, so I have to tell Miss Amanda to put it up here at the front of school. And I was like, okay, well, I'll give it to Miss Amanda. She's like, no, I need to give it to her. She needs to know who it's for. So we sat at the front of school, waited for the person who runs the school to come back to the front desk, and she gave it to her and was like, can you make sure that so-and-so gets this? And it was just like kind of a proud dad moment of like, you know what, maybe we are doing something right with the kids and like teaching them kindness and generosity. So that was
really sweet. I saw that like sitting next to her little locker, like in the front. In our mudroom, we have like these like locker cabinets where their backpacks are. And I saw that sitting there, and I went over and like looked and saw that it had the name on it. I was like, what is this? And just kind of peeked in and saw kind of all the random stuff. But
I just thought it was nice that she
sweet.
Gave up some of her own stuff and not the party stuff. So, proud dad moment.
I love that. Well, thanks for, spending a little bit of time with us on the podcast today. I think we learned something about our own marriage here. I'm going to take note when we are loading the dishwasher.
Friends, as a reminder, this is not professional advice.
Yes. Also, I feel like having a conversation about maybe some of these things that are frustrating you could really work.
And
it did for us right here.
I will also go with the husbands and say, you ask me a lot of times if I'm in a bad mood, you're like, what's wrong? And I never want to talk about it because I like to bottle my feelings up and push everything to the bottom. I understand that. So husbands, I get it. That's okay too.
I'm going to keep asking that.
You're going to keep nagging until I tell you what's wrong. But it is normal to want to bottle it up, but you shouldn't.
Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing some advice for the runners who might want to get into this, and I'll keep them updated on your marathon journey, but I love you, and
Thank you for having me. Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.